647, the cost of farming, like everything else right now, it's going up. Across the country, farmers are really grappling with record high inflation, and that includes right here in Arizona. So this morning, I'm headed back to Casa Grande for part 2 of my follow-up with a farmer in our state to see how she's making everything work.
My granddad bought this farm in 1930, and so I'm a third generation.
So this is really in your blood.
Absolutely.
And it's that blood, sweat, and yes, even some tears that have kept Nancy Caywood's 93-year-old farm alive.
It's grim.
That was how Nancy was feeling when we first met her back in 2021.
It was a really helpless feeling. But just to know my grandfather, you know, my uncle, my dad, his cousin, my son, you know, all the people that have been on this farm that are my heritage, and then my son, of course, you know, you just look at this and you think, oh, I don't want to lose this.
And she almost did. Nancy told me back when I first met her, there were talks of selling the farm. Arizona's intense drought, cutbacks to our water supply, and supply chain issues have all had major impacts on Nancy's Casa Grande farm in recent years. But these weren't the only issues.
Do you feel like inflation is still another obstacle?
Yes, I do.
Nancy says just about everything on the farm is getting more expensive. Take hay, for instance. The seeds, the pesticides, the labor, even the fertilizer now costs more.
According to the World Bank, fertilizer prices soared 80% in 2021, and halfway through 2022 had increased another 30%. And while prices on some fertilizers have started going down, in general, fertilizer is still more expensive than it was just a few years ago.
That alone, your fertilizer costs could more than double.
Yes. Oh, it is more than doubling.
Fueling up her equipment has also gotten more expensive.
It's just horribly expensive. You've got tractors running, they burn diesel.
We looked at the latest numbers, and although diesel prices have started to dip, they're still much higher than they were when the pandemic started. In 2020, the average price was $2.69 a gallon. Last year, diesel soared to $5.18 a gallon. So far this year, prices are hovering around $4.50 a gallon. So why can't Nancy just raise her prices? To a degree, she is, but she says it's a delicate balance.
You can raise your prices, but you can't raise them too much. Because
No.
what happens?
What happens is nobody will buy it.
You kind of have to walk a tightrope.
Right.
But today, there is reason to be optimistic here on Caywood Farms. This season's rains have delivered a much-needed shot in the arm for this farm, which is helping Nancy and the rest of her family weather the storm of inflation. It means more crops, more profits, more opportunities, but most importantly, more memories for generations of Caywoods to come.
Your family's been farming for almost 100 years here.
Yes.
So it's not just a crop that you're yielding, it's your family's legacy. It's the hard work. It's all of that.
It is. And so if we make it to our 100 years, there's going to be a celebration. If I'm still alive, there's going to be a celebration out here.
Oh, there definitely will be. So Nancy says that she's also had to get creative with the crops that she grows. It's also partly because of their water issues last year, but it means growing a diverse group of crops from corn to alfalfa to oats. And also want to mention, if you missed part 1 of our story from last week talking about the drought, we've included that on ABC15.com. They also offer tours at Caywood Farms, so you can check them out. We've posted a link as well on our website.